Yo, what's up guys, Nandra here. I had a bit of a late start today, but I'm gonna be showing you three different dragon games. They're all pretty interesting because these are all unranked, and I'm a little bit higher up in the ladder. And today especially, depending on like what time of the day you queue, that actually does determine what type of people you place as far as actual ladder points, as well as actual like experience. Like for example, I find that queuing early in the morning, at least as far as NA goes, as well as late at night. Like so, for example, let's see what time is it now. I believe right now it's like almost 9 p.m. Is when you tend to find better players, and just you get to have like more enjoyable games. Alright, so as I said before, these are all gonna be dragon games. Let me go ahead and show you guys the deck list first, because this deck list is actually a little bit different than what I normally play. Alright, so normally I play stuff like Bahamuts and whatnot, just because Bahamut is really important versus like certain like mid-range decks. It's pretty good versus stuff like Dirt and whatnot, and it's just well, it's Bahamut. However, for this list, I'm actually not playing any at all. Let me move this up. Alright, so this is the list. It's basically polyphonic. Yeah, it's basically poly Aurora, but instead with Erd Forte, as well as a little bit more storm damage and Zeus. There's not really much to talk about for this deck list. I guess one thing is I run 3 Zeus. The third Zeus could really be a second Ouroboros. However, I literally did not notice that I had 3. I had a 3-to-1 split until just now. But I like it because it has Storm, it has Ward, it has Bane. All good things. I'm playing 2 Wrath Drake. The reason why I'm playing the Wrath Drakes over Bahamut is just that Wrath Drake can come down on 8, whereas Bahamut is always going to be a 10 mana play. And the Wrath Drake in particular, it segues you into getting off your Polyroar. I'm only running 1 Polyroar, but I am running 1 Uriel, just because that way I effectively have 2 Polyroars. And because Uriel on turn 4 isn't even a bad play. It's not the best play, but it's not a bad play either. And then lastly, I'm running Forte Erd, just because that way, if I get down the Polyroar, then I get to put you on a timer, and if you've taken at least 5 damage, then I can go ahead and Wind Blast Dragon you to the face, and then Forte Erd you for the remaining 10 damage, or conversely, use Forte Erd plus Evo on any of the storm targets, and that can reach you from 17 damage, or reach you from 17 HP. But yeah, it's a pretty all-in list. You're not alright. So versus the mirror, you're gonna have a pretty rough time if you like miss ramp or anything like that. And if you can't get down your Polyroar in time, because you need to get down your Polyroar fast enough before they can have Bahamut. Like you can win even if they do have the Bahamut. However, if they do have the Bahamut, then you're gonna be in a rough time. You're also be in a rough time if they also have Polyroar and they play it before you, because I have no ways to deal with the Polyroar on this deck, like none. However, your threshold for damage in this deck is pretty high, just because I have Scythers, I have Zeus, I have Fortes, etc. You also have Grimnairs and you have Ouroboros as well. So generally, this is one of those, if anything sticks, well, you're gonna take a buttload of damage for it. Alright, so on to the games. I played 3 different games, I believe. Yeah, and they were all pretty interesting, at least in my opinion. Alright, so I'm going to show you the first game. This is going to be versus Blood. Again, these are all ladder games, so if I'm not mistaken, I believe like at least 2 of my 3 opponents were master, and I believe 2 of them were like higher up, or were higher master, at least like top 10k. Alright, so I'm going second. This is most likely Vengeance Blood. so I want to try to get bored early. However, even though I started as Vengeance Blood, I do get a little bit greedy here just because just because one, I'm going second, so I have a higher chance of seeing Dragon Oracle, and I want to try to hold the Fervor and hold the Blazing Breath but pitch away the Grimnir, just because if I do get Oracle, then I can go ahead and Oracle on 2, clear off something with Blazing Breath on 3, and then go ahead and Fervor on 4. If I can Fervor on 4 before he can play the Belphegor, that'll put me in a really great spot, because I can maybe draw Sybil and whatnot, and I can go ahead and play the Belphegor when he does play it, and then because of that, I'll theoretically ramp 3 times, and that just puts me like so far ahead in an unfavored matchup, because generally versus unfavored matchups, you have like, there are 2 different ways you can go about it. You can try to play it safe and try to go for as non-greedy of a curve as you can. However, you can also just try to I guess, I don't want to say get lucky, but like kind of get lucky and try to just like focus on your game plan. Like, you never really want to be in a spot in which you're forced to play your opponent's game. You want to be able to try to play your own game whenever possible, just because if you're playing your own game, then you get closer to winning. Obviously, in unfavored matchups, you do want to try to play the game for at least for a little bit, but I was feeling pretty cocky at the moment, so I was also a little bit tilted. Alright, so I get the Uriel. Uriel actually isn't bad, because it's a good turn 4 play for me. And it'll get me my Poly. Granted, I won't always use the Poly in this matchup. Alright, so I do get the Oracle here. I'm expecting to either go Blood Wolf, Spiderweb Imp, or maybe Blood Pack, because the most likely is going to be Wolf, just because Wolf pushes damage, and usually, well, you're Vengeance, but you want to push damage. I do get the Oracle, so next turn what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Oracle. Then I'm going to, because again, I don't want to be playing his game, because I see a second Sybil, I'm pretty sure I can just like win this game, and I can just go ahead and try to ignore what he's doing. All right, so here this part is especially important. He misses a turn 3 play, so he has to go for burn damage. I draw the Scyther, and I go ahead and just go Blazing Breath on the Wolf, and I go ahead and hard cast Scyther. He's already used 1 damage spell, so I don't think he has a second one. And while Scyther is on the board, this prevents him from playing Belphegor, Double Vengeance, all of those things. He just can't play it, because like he's gonna lose a 4-drop to a 3-drop. This will also be the turn before my Evo turn, so I'm gonna force him to take a weak turn so I can Fervor, and the second I Fervor, he's lost. Because I have enough heals on my hand that I can like make it to late games successfully. And if he ever has another weak turn, then I can go ahead and Poly Roar. So I go ahead and Fervor here. I draw really good cards. What I'm gonna do most likely is I'm gonna go Oracle plus Sybil, Evo the Sybil, just so that way I get to 10 mana. I already have an Erd in my hand, so if I draw Forte and he ever puts himself in Vengeance without a ward, I can kill him. Also, the Sybil is important because Sybil has 6 attack when she's evolved. So, and she's also at 5 HP. So nothing he can play, except for Air Jammer let's see what else. Except for Air Jammer, Devil of Vengeance. Well, actually, not even Devil right now because he's not in Vengeance. But basically, there are very few cards that he can use right now to correctly clear the Sybil. So he has to use the dancing stuff. This is good for me because he hasn't developed, and he's an aggressive deck. And I'm supposed to be a slower deck or whatever, but he's let me get to 10, and I've only taken 3 damage for doing so. So right now, I'm just massively in the driver's seat. So I'm gonna go ahead and play Uriel to fetch out my Poly, and then I'm gonna go ahead and play Sybil. You might be wondering, okay, well, why didn't you Forte Erd him to put him to 4? I didn't do that just because I don't know how much, if any, life gain he actually has in his deck. Like, for example, if I put him to 4 and he has like Diabolic Drains in his hand, then I just can't lose because because he's gonna heal. I'll no longer have storm damage, and that's just gonna be awkward for me. Like, so like for this deck, the way you want to do it is you want to use the Forte Erd to kill the person, and not just to pressure the person, unless you can like set up like 2-turn lethal. So I go ahead and play both cards. This is important because he's going to 7 mana. He's not in Vengeance, so the only way that they can correctly clear both of these cards is to maybe go Belphegor plus Diabolic Drain. However, if you do, however, regardless of what he does this turn, I'm just gonna play Polyroar next turn. The second Polyroar comes down, there's nothing you can do anymore. Just because he's an aggressive deck, but I've successfully managed to force him to play to my tune, and yeah. So Polyroar comes down here, and I still have Forte Erd in my hand. I also have 2 more Evos left. So right now he's basically in checkmate right now, and yeah. So here he takes more damage than he should have for no reason. But he does finally get himself into Vengeance. However, it's just too late, because next turn I can go Breath of the Salamander to clear the ward. Then I can go face with my Windblast Dragon, and I can Erd my Windblast Dragon to give it Storm again, and then kill him. Yeah, like the game really ended when he didn't have a turn 3 play as an aggressive deck. Like as aggro, you want to be doing something proactive on the board every single turn, especially versus Dragon, because Dragon as a deck, like their turns their turns like 1 to 3 and maybe even 4 like are pretty lackluster overall, and you can punish that. However, if you don't punish that, then you yourself should like expect to get punished, because like if the Dragon did see ramp, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble, because like if they go ramp on 2, they can go Rahab on 3 into Fervor, and that's usually the most optimal play, just because you have a ward in play, you're drawing 2 cards, you're getting to ramp, and it's just good stuff. Alright, so this is going to be game 2. Same deck. I believe this guy was also Masters. I believe he was like at least 3K Masters or something like that. I don't actually 100% remember. Alright, sorry about that. Forest is an unfavored matchup for Dragon, just because they have Roach combo, they can pressure you a lot. Getting the addition of Sybil and Rahab did help this matchup quite a bit. But it's not always going to be an easy matchup, just because, again, they have Roaches, they have a lot of bounces, they have Ancient Elf. Ancient Elf is like turn 3 Ancient Elf for Dragon is actually like really hard to clear, because you absolutely have to have a 2-drop plus Breath of the Salamander in order to clear it. But a lot of times you're not going to have that. So, alright, so here I keep the Fervor. I only kept the Fervor just because if he has a bad start, then okay, that may be fine, and I can get to ramp and I can see more cards. He has the Fairy Circle, so now I'm kind of like a little bit scared. I do draw the Lyrial though. Drawing the Lyrial is nice just because, again, it lets me do that thing I just mentioned, which is trade my 2-drop and then Breath of the Salamander. I also draw Rahab, which is nice because now what I'm looking to do is to go turn 3 Salamander, turn 4 Rahab, turn 5 Fervor. However, he goes for the Slope Injustice here. But here I get to go Ayala. The Ayala is nice because I did not want to play out my Scyther, and I did not want to use my Salamander yet, because I do believe that he has an Ancient Elf in his hand, and he does confirm my suspicions here. He wanted to boost up his Ancient Elf just 1 more, so that way it wouldn't die to Salamander. However, that still wasn't a good play, just because I can trade an Ayala, And then I can go Rahab, and I can evo my Rahab. He needed to play a fairy, in my opinion, just because if he has May, he can go ahead and trade in, and then go, he can go ahead and trade in a fairy, and then go May to kill off the Rahab without using evo. Here, he goes Glimmering Wings, which is good for me because it means he's gonna have a weak turn. Like, so even though he got to hit me, for a little bit of chip damage, I can go ahead and heal off the damage this turn, and then next turn I can go back to clearing the board, and then maybe the turn after that I can just win. Because I've successfully made it to 8 mana, and next turn I'm most likely going to go, maybe Fervor and then Lyrial. The reason why I want to go Fervor is just because my hand isn't as good as it could be, and I'm really just trying to dig for the poly. I do get the poly, which is nice, and I can go ahead and start trying to clear off the board. I'm expecting to have another weak turn this turn because even though he did draw cards, he's almost out of Evo points, and with Forest, like, you really want your Evo points to be hitting stuff like EPM or to be hitting Fina. However, his first Evo did not, and his second Evo is most likely not going to as well. However, even if he does, I have Breath of Salamander, I have Scythers, and I just have a really good hand. But most likely, I'm going to play Polyroar next turn. Alright, so he has Justice. He plays a fairy, but he doesn't play anything else, and this is where he loses, just because I have Poly. Even if he has Wolf, the Wolf is fine, just because I can clear off the Wolf, and I can go back to healing. However, here he makes a Roach Fly, then makes a Giant Ancient Elf. And then plays a 1 cost. Alright, so here I go Sybil. The reason I go Sybil here is just because Sybil represents a body that he wants to clear. I also have a Blazing Breath in my hand to finish it off. However, I decide to go Scyther and Evo and trade the Scyther into the Ancient Elf. I made sure to make my Sybil this big just because he has to have something like Dance of Death to clear it, and even if he uses Dance of Death, like, there's no way they can clear the rest of my board. So here he goes Crystalia Aaron. However, the damage is already done. He needed to have something like say White Wolf of Elderwood in order to be fine, because then he could just like Bolt combo me for 18. But he doesn't have it, and he doesn't have any 0 cost as well. So I can just go ahead and play a Rob Rose, clear out the Aaron, go face, and then Blazing Breath the Elf, the Fairy, just to be extra certain. So he has to clear everything on my board, but he can't do it, so he's lost. Alright, so the key focal point in that game was just that he had one too many dead turns. Like, the turn where he went for the where he like held the Ancient Elf, that play was kind of good. However, I drew the Ayla, and that kind of stymied his plays. However, I do honestly think that he should have just gone for the 4/5 Ancient Elf as soon as possible, just because I wasn't going to be able to deal with it immediately, and I would have freed him up to maybe do other things instead of committing him into a line. Additionally, the other key factor is that he didn't have either EPM or Fina. EPM and Fina are pretty core cards in the matchup, just because, again, they give you 0 cost, and in the case of EPM, and in the case of Fina, Fina can gives you a 0-cost Goblin Mage, which can fetch you additional roaches, and then and just set you up for a huge like damage combo. But he didn't get either. But he didn't get either or. Alright, so this game's like gonna be versus Shadow. For this particular deck I have, I don't think I'm favored versus. I don't really think I'm favored versus Shadow. Like I can win, but but it's not gonna be as easy as just throw down a Bahamut when he does anything annoying, and then you win. Like I'm still gonna have to find time to take it down Poliwar, because Poliwar is gonna be like what appears me in this matchup. That or be able to chain Grimners correctly. Alright, so I believe I actually kept all of this just because I had a Blazing Breath, I had a Uriel on 4, and then I had Civil. The Uriel was going to give me my Poliroar. The Poliroar was going to be how I win this matchup. Even though I was like 90% sure that he was going to be mid-range, there is still a chance that they could have been nepped, and if he was nepped, I need to have the Poliroar immediately in order to even have a shot at winning this matchup. Alright, I'm even going second, which is actually kind of nice, just because I have the Blazing Breath. I have a higher shot of maybe drawing Oracle. I do draw Lyriel, which is nice. Alright, so next turn he's probably going to want a Bone Chimera me. I play out the Lyriel right now just because I need to try to like remove stuff off the board while also establishing something on the board. He has the Grimnir for the punish, but the Grimnir gives me vital information. The Grimnir now tells me that he's slow Ektar, and because he's slow Ektar, there are certain things that I can now do to him that I wouldn't be able to do before. Like for example, I can play a little bit more greedy just because I don't think he has Phantom Howl if he is slow Ektar, which again the Grimnir telegraphs, and now it really just comes down to, okay, can I clear off enough of the board and without taking too much damage, but at least I'm most likely not gonna have to deal with Phantom Howls. And so when I finally do run out of resources, then that's it. There's gonna be like no way for him to just like cheese me out with like Phantom Howl for like 5 to 9 damage or something like that. So I go ahead and play Ayala. Alright, so here I should have traded just because that way that would deny him a trade. However, he does take the value trade for me, which is nice. And then he soul converts. If he was gonna soul convert anything, he needed to soul convert his Grimnir, because that made the most sense. Because he didn't, if I had a second Lyriel in my hand, that would have been a really big punish for him. But instead, I go Uriel. I go ahead and evo the Uriel over the Soul Squasher. He most likely doesn't have a third Soul Squasher, so I'm not gonna get punished for this. And if anything, he's gonna most likely want to go Cerberus possibly. But instead, he plays Goblin Princess. Initially, I was gonna like Breath of the Salamander. However, I don't need to right now. And now what I can do is I can just play Sybil next turn. I'm not going to evo the Sybil just because I have a Blazing Breath in my hand, and say if he does have Cerberus, so I'll go and cleanly clear that off. Additionally, this is going into his turn 6, so he wants to play Death Breath, but instead he plays Goblin King, and then he gives me his final evo to clear off my Sybil and push face for 2. This is important because next turn I can go Oracle into the Breath of the Salamander, and I'll put me up to 10 mana, and I still have evos left, which is so right now I'm in a really good spot. He will have 9 shadows for Ektar if he wants to go for that this turn. However, next turn what I want to do is I want to go Poly, and I also want to go Blazing Breath. So he plays the Thane because again he was slow Ektar, and if I had any doubts, they automatically got confirmed on this turn. And although this turn does look pretty scary, I am going to go Blazing Breath and play my poly, just because again, this is the line. This is the line that I decided on from the very start of the game. So there's absolutely no reason for me to deviate from that line, especially because the hand that I have doesn't immediately deal with his board. So I just have to clear what I can this turn, play the poly, and then next turn try to go ahead and heal and clear as much as possible. He could have Ectard me here. And gotten his 3 shadows, and gotten his 3 zombies, and done, I think it's like 10 damage to me? Something like that. And that would have been fine, because I haven't drawn a Grimir, I haven't drawn a Grimir yet. I still have an out to draw one of my two other copies of Breath of the Salamander. So I have like 5 outs and 27 cards, so I have almost a 1 in 5 to be fine. With whatever whatever he wants to do this turn. Oops. So I gotta play the poly. But like I said, I am gonna be taking a lot of damage. If he does have Ectar here, then I'm gonna take I'm gonna go down to 6. But here he plays Death Breath, and this is fine for me. Like, the wards are annoying, but he is using more shadows, and I do draw the Breath of the Salamander. So here I'm gonna go Breath of the Salamander. I'm gonna clear out the White King. And now I'm gonna go Rahab. I'm gonna Evo my Rahab. I still have 1 Evo left. He no longer has Evos left, and if he wants to go for if he wants to go for Ectar here, that'll be good for him, because he'll go ahead and push 4 damage. However, he does use up Necromancy, which I didn't really understand. Yeah, I didn't really understand this play now that I think about it. Going for the Ectar made more sense, and then just, you know, place a word afterwards. But he goes for this play. Yeah, because he ended up using one more Necromancy that he should have used, just so that way he would get a 6/1. But now he just like opens himself up massive. Yeah, like none of these plays made sense now to think about it. Like he 100% should have just drawn first, then played Ectar, then played the White King afterwards. That, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he was okay. Never mind. This makes complete sense. He's AA. And he's most likely one of those people that just, you know, sees mid shadow, realizes that that's a good deck or whatever, and then trying to use that to climb. So here, it's really important that I heal and that I leave absolutely nothing on this board alive. So I want to go Fervor first, if possible, or I could have gone Zeus. However, the line that I decided to go for, because again, I need absolutely nothing to survive, just because he still has second and third Ectar, and then second and third Grimnir, as well as Phantom Howls and whatnot. So I'm at 6, and 6 puts me just 1 above Phantom Howl range, provided nothing else happens to me. So I'm gonna go Ayala. I'm gonna Evo the Ayala, trade into the 2. I'm gonna trade into the 2/1 with my Evo'd Ayala. I'm gonna clear off. Wait, no, that's incorrect. Okay, I'm gonna Evo my Ayala. I'm gonna trade in my Ayala to something. It doesn't really matter what he gets traded into. But the point is that I have to clear off. Both of the wards, and then have Scyther clear off the Ectar. Yeah, so I'm gonna trade into his 4/1, so that way I'll have a 5/3 left, and I'm gonna hand clear off the Ectar as well. This is really good because I actually got a Windblast Dragon to survive this turn, so he's gonna want to have something like Zombie Party here, well, which is a potential out for him. However, next turn I can heal for 6 and draw 4 more cards, so I can try to start digging for the Grimnir. Because if I get the Grimnir at any point in time now, then he just like loses, just because I'll be able to full clear and I'll be able to have a dragon hit his face. Alright, so here I draw the Sybil. I go ahead and play the Fervor first, see what I get. I go ahead and play the Sybil now next, just because the Sybil is basically a 4/5 ward. It's going to heal me for 3 immediately, and he's going to want to he's going to want to clear it. He does have his second Ektar for lethal. However, if he does not have Ektar, then he's gonna be in trouble. He has Grimnir, but the Grimnir is gonna be 2 off lethal, and he's gonna so he's gonna have to trade in he's gonna have to trade in something into my Sybil. This is still fine for me, just because he's already used, I believe, 1 or 2 Death Breath. I'm not 100% sure, because this game's kind of been going on for a while. But I do have the out to go double Fervor here. So I go ahead and do that, just because if I do that, that heals me out of range of Ektar. And I've now drawn all 3 Grimnir, so if I live next turn and he doesn't get to push any more damage, then there's almost no way that he wins. Alright, so he plays another Death Breath here. And I just go ahead and throw down Grimnir. The Grimnir is good because this pushes him down to 6. And then it effectively gives me 9 total HP to play around with. He could go ahead and play something like Ektar now, but the Ektar wouldn't save him. He would need to have Ektar plus something else. But he does use his 3rd Grimnir, but that's not going to be enough. Alright, this turn I actually kind of misplayed a little bit. Just because I messed up the animation order. I could have gone ahead and made it just 1 and made just 2 quick animations. Instead, I made it 5 for no reason. Just because I forgot how the Grimnir animation works. So. But yeah, so for this game in particular, it really just came down to recognizing what deck type he was, and because I knew he was slow Ektar, I immediately knew what to expect. It also came down to him severely messing up his Ektar turn, because he could have had one extra zombie. He also would not have had a damage ward. I wouldn't have been able to clear as much. So when he did go for the Grimnir, like 2 or 3 turns later, that actually would have been lethal. However, again, this just shows the importance of why you need to order correctly when you go ahead and you make complicated plays like that. Because again, like there were so many different directions that A could have gone with that turn, but he went for the worst possible one and he got punished for it. So that's all 3 games. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and go ahead and tell me why not if you didn't down in the comments below. Additionally, I just want to hear your thoughts on the game. Was it too long? Was it too short? Like, what's something else they would like to see? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.